The Depth to Delve Deep by Rote. Chapter 50. Dublin. Rote arrives in Dublin for a second time. He walks from where the bus depot is located to the nearest hostel. His arms agonizingly stretch from the weight of his own freight. After stepping into the first hostel, he leaves immediately with the impression how filthy the hostel is, though not before paying the €15 for the night. Finds out once they lead him upstairs to the dorm assigned. Takes one look at it. A gush of rush brings him back down the stairs in haste. He's filled with the fear of being infested. The dorm is swarming with flies, not to mention the stench, hovering like a cloud of smoke. Rook gathers his bags and asks for his money back. He walks to the next nearest hostel, where again he's dismayed by the filth. Leads him to believe the Irish rogues known as the Pogues Ditty, dirty old town, is an accurately dub of Dublin so far. The third hostel he finds is a little cleaner, though the people running it are nowhere near as friendly as the filthy first two found. At least it's clean, and being too tired to tug his lugs any further, he decides to stay. He's paying to pay the €15 cost. Rope carries his hellish handbaskets up to the dorm where he showers, shaves, and shits. He's feeling quite crunchy from his bog episode the night before. Early in the evening, he walks around Dublin, trying to get a feel for the dirty old town. He decides not to go to the Irish band's bar after speaking to a couple of Belgian backpackers who've already been. They tell him the cover charge is not worth the cost of entry, though the cost, not their call, cancels the visit. Roe likes you too. The first time he ever hears their song, Sunday, Bloody Sunday, his mind, body, and soul move him with the rolling drumming, like no other sound before. He's even seen them in concert twice. He would surely visit their bar just to get a chance, perchance, to see, maybe even talk to Bono, The Edge, or any other band member had he the means. He still hopes to see a session, the clan holding a Khalid, like Van Morrison on the Cheap Dance. So he sets out to see the sights without charge. Crisscrosses roads and streets surely steeped in holy hatred of a foreign dominion. He's read many of Morgan Llewellyn's books on the matter. Like the Easter Rising in 1916 that ignites the ire of Ireland, and from there, with much bloodshed, the Emerald Isle finds independence, escaping England's eminence. Roe remembers a line from U2's song Sunday, Bloody Sunday. How long must we sing this song, as he crosses the River Liffey over one of the many bridges spanning it. Onwards on O'Connell Street, the main cog, then by way of many a meandering mazes to Dublin Castle, the facade of the Irish Dale of Democracy, on Dame Street, the site of a former Viking stronghold. While he walks out of the cobblestone square in the middle of the Dale in Dublin, a woman from a small group of guided tourists asks Rote for directions. In turn, he responds, slyly implying with a wiry smile, I'm a foreigner, I know nothing. This brings a smile for some reason, both to the woman and to her son who's standing beside her. From there, he finds himself in the front entrance of Dublin Castle, just to see what it looks like. Unfortunately, it's not open to tourists that night. Nonetheless, he steps in and sees it's closed due to a play in progress. Had he the funds, he would have paid. Afterwards, inside the upper yard, he takes some time to take in the history held within the castle compound wrought with an iron gate. After seeing most of the old town, he continues along the boardwalk levying River Liffey. It dissects Dublin. He's looking for the oldest pub in town. After a breeze through the Brazen Head, he heads to the Temple Bar by way of Halfpenny Bridge, a name born out of the toll it once cost to cross from Bachelor's Row to Wellington Quay over the Liffey by the Wellington Bridge. He heads in through Merchant's Arch into Temple Bar. It's an area that, from what he hears, holds over 200 pubs, within a 4-block parameter of cobblestone streets. All told, 10,000 pubs in Ireland. He looks for a pub possibly playing Celtic chimes, but upon finding one and attempting to enter, he's stopped at the door. The Dooley doorman suspects the shabby clothes, not to mention the holes in his worn and shorn shoes. The two telltale signs stop him from entering the pub. He's presumed penniless, and so refused entry based on his apparel. A little miffed by the refusal, Rote nonetheless travels through the Temple Bar district to get a gist of a big city Irish life. He's glad to leave the vicinity after seeing alcohol Irish style. 20 years ago, and with a pocket full of money, he would have painted the Temple Bar red. But now, that world seems sullied by sobriety. From there, he visits the Jameson Distillery and some other points and places of interest. He crosses over one bridge to the next, exploring both sides of the town. The River Liffey itself is quite nice to look at. The lights illuminating the waterway are green, giving the water a fluorescent green blue-like hue. He thinks of Chicago, a city that colors its waterway with, I'm guessing, green food coloring every March 17th, and other major North American cities partaking in St. Patrick's Day celebrations, like the longest running one in his hometown, and another, the largest in New York City. He wonders if the Irish here even know how loved they are abroad. He visits St. Patrick's Cathedral and Patrick's Close, but finds he's too late. The doors are locked shut. There he gets a general gist by walking around the church grounds. He knows it's supposed to be old, but the cinder blocks constituting the cathedral's outside walls leave Rote with the impression the church either is recently renovated or the Irish have cement cinder blocks before anyone else does. Back to the hostel, Rote's glad to leave the next morning. The backpackers at the hostel don't seem friendly. Overall, he's not impressed with Dublin, or as the Vikings called it, Difflin, before Brian Boru beats them back from any further attack. His Dublin disdain is probably pushed by his first impression of the three hostels he's seen. Two friendly but filthy, one clean but mean. Rote's relieved to be on a bus back to Belfast, for his lack of money reminds him like a nag or itch. He thinks spending at least one night in the troubled Northern Ireland capital is the call, just to get a feel for it all while he still can.